Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's about that time. I think it is time now to talk about what has gone on and transpired in the wrestling and in the music world. They say death comes in threes, and it has certainly hit us. No question that we have seen probably the two most iconic figures of a generation pass away within a span of 48 hours. And originally, we were going to have Comatose on. We'll have Comatose on at some point during the stream tonight. But I wanted to get your opinions and hear what's on your mind about the passing of the Hulkster and Ozzy Osbourne, the real American and the Prince of Darkness, the godfather of heavy metal, and some would say is the godfather of the modern professional wrestling movement as we know it. And they pass away within a span of 48 hours. And I'm sure we'll have some people here come on the stream throughout the next hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, and share their memories of it. But I most certainly wanted to do that and get everybody's reactions. And yeah, this was definitely a week you're going to remember for a very long time. And Ozzy Osbourne, who just performed, he got that send off at the very least. He got the send off back to the beginning. Black Sabbath plays one more time. Ozzy gets to tune out a few more of his songs and crank him out. And he got what he wanted. He got that opportunity, and certainly we're going to remember that for a lifetime. And also, well, the Hulkster didn't get that moment. The Hulkster did not get the moment that he should have probably gotten, but be that as it may, we'll definitely, I'm sure, share some of your opinions over the next 90 minutes. And definitely thoughts and prayers go out to the fans and the families of Hulk Hogan and Ozzy Osbourne. Hulk Hogan passes away at the age of 71. In fact, his birthday was coming up here in a few weeks. Ozzy, 76, turning 77 at the end of the year. And definitely, again, two of the most important figures of maybe the last generation. And they pass away. And definitely some sad times in the music and in the wrestling world, and they intersect. You think about Ozzy, and Ozzy's been a part of so many different moments, whether it's WrestleManias, Monday Night Raws, segments with D-Generation X, or hosting Monday Night Raw, and definitely you think about Hulk Hogan and what Hulk Hogan did in crossing over in the rock and wrestling era, and movies, and just all the different things he was able to do. Some of them he was successful, some of them not as much, but he definitely influenced many. People can certainly talk about some of the things outside the ring, but I'm not here about that. I'm also here, though, however, to talk about Hulk Hogan, his life, and just what he meant, especially to us here in the wrestling world. And Ozzy, we've had on a lot of heavy metal bands the last 4 or 5 months, and in some way or another, many of them are undoubtedly influenced by Black Sabbath. You think about LA Guns, Great White, you think about King's X, those bands undeniably have some influence from Black Sabbath. And Ozzy definitely influenced a generation, and certainly with the Osbournes and the Ozfest tours that kept heavy metal alive. And we saw a lot of crossover between Ozfest and wrestling, WWE, and just all the professional wrestlers. So definitely a tough week. I do want to mention also at the beginning of the week, Malcolm Jamal Warner passed away. If you were a fan of The Cosby Show before Bill Cosby was found light to certain things, that was also a definitely difficult death. 54 years old. He was the young one. His was an accident. I don't know yet what Ozzy passed away from. Hulk Hogan, I believe TMZ said cardiac arrest. So that's definitely out there. But he had a number of injuries that he dealt with certainly in his career. And Ozzy had Parkinson's disease, and Ozzy obviously dealt with a lot. I mean, listen, Ozzy probably outkicked his coverage by, I don't know, 30, 40 years. And yeah, I mean, I see my BYC. Now I got my mic back on. Yeah, I mean, definitely rest in peace, Hogan and Ozzy. I saw Dalton. I was on your live 2 days ago. You mentioned Ozzy and now Hogan, and Austin Edwards, who certainly many say is the next Goldberg, said yes, we lost legends in short amount of time. Two of them. Yeah, Anthony Finkel's here, who probably tuned out the minute I came on the air. No, I'm only kidding. Probably though, that's the case. But yeah, Mama, I'm coming home. Rest in peace, Ozzy and Hulk Hogan. Yeah, definitely. Really tough one. And I think Ozzy's last song he performed was "Mama, I'm Coming Home." And I saw my LBYW people. We got the Wilster back on Sunday. I saw the little short that they did from last year come out to play here, and definitely rip to the Hulkster. And yeah, Hulk Hogan and Ozzy Osbourne, definitely tough losses. Thank you, Zilla, for giving us the motions about condolences to Hogan and, obviously Ozzy, the Prince of Darkness, and the man, the Godfather of heavy metal, the Godfather of heavy metal, and just what he brought to the table. He was definitely a larger than life figure. And if you want to stop by here in the chat, I'm sure we'll have some people come on and give their 2 cents and just what the Hulkster meant to them. And Ozzy, I'm sure some are going to be more influenced by Hulk, others are going to be more influenced by Ozzy, but I think that their careers were certainly just as influential in some ways. And I think that it's a loss, not just for the wrestling and the music worlds, but also just for, pop culture. They had such an influence on so many. And I think that that's what we'll take away, that their influence will most certainly last a lifetime and out past all of us. I think that there's no question that what they brought to the table in pop culture and certainly them crossing over, the Osbournes, Hogan knows best, and just everything that they were able to do to cross over and bring wrestling and heavy metal to the masses. I think that that's what I'm going to remember most with the Hulkster and Ozzy. Certainly, both men were able to reinvent themselves over the years, undoubtedly. I think that that's probably one of their biggest traits, biggest success stories. And I think that that's going to be what we'll remember. Let me get to some more comments. Yeah, it's definitely been a sad week. Yeah, I mean, deaths in threes. You think about it, Malcolm Jamal Warner from the Cosby Show passes away. Freak accident in Costa Rica. Ozzy, Anthony Finkel, shout out to him, the band Rust Eater, DPH Property Maintenance. I mean, you think about what Ozzy brought and what Hogan brought. I mean, yeah, I mean, again, thank you to BCW. And yeah, EBW said a few things, but we'll talk about BCW first. And two absolute icons in their respective industries. Music and wrestling would never be where it is today without Hogan and Ozzy. Yeah, I mean, just absolutely heartbreaking. And we lost icons. Yeah, I mean, you think about, they were so similar. You think about in terms of how they crossed over. Some people weren't fond of them outside of what they did in music and wrestling. Ozzy biting the head of a bat. Ozzy, peeing on the Alamo and licking his own urine. And Hogan said things in the past, his wrestling career outside of it. But in terms of what they brought to the table, to what we are here on Sportswire Radio. I mean, you think about this platform, we have had some of the biggest names in heavy metal and some of the biggest names in the wrestling world. We didn't have to ask for those people to come on. They came on here, and I think that we owe a debt of gratitude to those men. And yeah, Hogan, well, he did have some health issues. He had a neck surgery a few months back. He dealt with a lot of back problems. But yeah, Ozzy was definitely sick, though. I mean, Ozzy had Parkinson's for a long time. Ozzy, I mean, he was a trooper. I mean, listen, Ozzy should have probably been dead probably right around the time Randy Rhoads died. So Ozzy, I mean, he was one of those guys you just thought would live forever. You just thought that he would just be immortal, and Hulk Hogan was immortal. But yeah, Hogan, I mean, he did have a number of back surgeries. He did a neck operation a few months ago. There was some rumors out there, but you just never know in life. You just never know, and I just think that's really what you have to take away from things. You got to just enjoy life. You got to enjoy, just anything in general about what goes on. And I think that that's just what I'll remember about these guys and what they meant to us on this platform. And, just everything that they brought to the table. But yeah, I mean, you're right. They were very young, relatively speaking, 76 and 71. Yeah, hello, Ox McCoy. Ox, hope you're feeling better. And I just hope that we don't have any more debts to report. And certainly the debts were pretty big this week. I mean, Also, let me put this video up because my buddy, Mr. Big Man Cam, has something for us here. And I'm going to play it from my iCloud account because I just got this here. And he was in the news about Hulk Hogan. I'm going to play it for our audience.
Hulk Hogan was just in Central Ohio last summer. This is a video from August when he stopped by the Giant Eagle Market District in Grandview Yard. At that time, he was promoting his Real American.
And there he was, Big Man Cam, the former ROEW champion, and he and the Hulkster, obviously Big Man Cam, who has certainly put quite a name for himself out there, thanks to Sportswire Radio and yours truly paying for cameos. But no, obviously, here's the moment.
Hulk Hogan was just in Central Ohio last summer. This is a video from August when he stopped by the Giant Eagle Market District in Grandview Yard. Wow. At that time, he was promoting his Real American.
And there you have it, Big Man Cam, and yeah, there you are, Big Man Cam. Maybe you should have gave Hogan some tips on the beer, or maybe some tips on lasting a long time. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, the final show, back to the beginning, I heard people complain about it, but you got to see Ozzy one more time. And, Ozzy said, by the way, that he wanted one more show. He said that he wanted to go out to see his fans one more time. And we got that. So Ozzy, to me, got the perfect send-off. I feel it's disappointing with Hogan. And thank you, Big Man Cam. I feel it's disappointing with Hogan because we didn't get that opportunity for closure. We didn't get that chance to truly see at least one more appearance or just one more moment. We didn't get that. He came out on Raw earlier this year. I think we saw him maybe one more time after, but unfortunately didn't get that moment. Ozzy, we got that moment, and it meant a lot to see Ozzy and Black Sabbath one more time. And I'm going to be joined by somebody here to share their opinions. And Hogan put me over. That's all I'm going to say. It was awesome, though, and I had no idea that footage existed. Well, it did. And to join me to share her opinions about the Hulkster, Mrs. Courtney Warner. Miss Courtney. Well, boy, you would kill me if I said Mrs. But Courtney, how are you? Tonight, I was going to have a guest on to talk about who knows, whatever else. He'll come on later, maybe. But I think tonight's got to be about Hulk Hogan and Ozzy Osbourne. I mean, what these two men did for wrestling and music, I mean, just their impact is undeniable. And I got to ask you, Miss Wood, what is your thoughts on the passings of the Hulkster and the Prince of Darkness, Ozzy Osbourne? Sounds like you're in the Prince of Darkness's atmosphere right now. It's dark where you are. I mean, are you playing Bark at the Moon right now? Are you waiting for a Diary of a Madman or what?
I would be lying if I said I have not been listening to Ozzy the past couple of hours. It's so sad.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, really, it's heartbreaking. Ozzy at least got one more performance. I feel like that's what I take away from it. Sabbath got to go out there one more time. We got to see Ozzy. Hogan obviously had done some very, controversial things as a wrestler and outside of being a wrestler, but he didn't get that send-off. I think that's kind of what I'm going to take away from Hogan. He didn't get that send-off. Ozzy, to me, at least got that send-off, and he did deserve it. But the Hulkster, well, we didn't get a chance to see him run wild one more time.
I mean, there's a lot of things that we could talk about why that is, but I don't feel like any of that really matters right now.
Yeah.
As wrestling fans, we know that this business wouldn't be what it is without him.
Yep.
You have to separate Hulk Hogan from Terry Bollea and give your thoughts and prayers and whatever to his family, because those are real people. Like, we knew Hulk Hogan, but he's their dad,
Yeah.
Like that's where your thought should be.
I think it's tough, though, also because these are two people in Hogan and Ozzy that I think a lot of people grew up with. The generation was spent with them. They were in the public eye for so long. You're talking 40, 50 plus years that we saw them. And, we never thought that they would die. We thought they would be immortal. And, like you said, they're people and they unfortunately are no longer with us. I think what's so difficult about this week, and the reason I'm here, really is it was in such a short amount of time, within 48 hours of each other. That's what's crazy about all this,
It's insane. My mom, I don't know if we've ever talked about this, but my mom is the biggest Ozzy fan ever.
Wow.
That's
Not a big
what
Steel
I
Panther
grew up
fan?
with. No.
Oh, that's a bummer.
But like I remember being driven to like elementary school listening to Ozzy. Like that's just what I've grown up with.
Yeah.
We've gone to Ozfest a couple of times. Like it was just such a big part of like our life.
Absolutely. Yeah, Ozfest, I really think with Ozzy, his biggest contribution is actually something he didn't do with his own work. It's Ozfest. Ozfest, to me, actually kept heavy metal alive in America. I mean, there was no question that heavy metal really went through some dark times. I mean, Metallica cut their hair and tried to move away from heavy metal, and a lot of bands here in America got shunned. But Ozzy was that guy that waved that flag, and because of the Ozfest, a lot of bands got an opportunity for their first real exposure. I think about bands like Disturbed. I think about bands like Linkin Park. I think about bands like Slipknot. I think about bands like Avenged Sevenfold. I think about so many bands, Lamb of God, that because of Ozfest, they got major exposure. And I think that he really, even with him not knowing it, he gave a lot of bands an opportunity to have a career. And that really was a big deal because originally Ozfest was made to kind of, because Ozzy couldn't, you're going to laugh at this, Ozzy couldn't get on Lollapalooza, which was the big thing for like all the, like the alternative bands, and he wanted to go on Lollapalooza and they wouldn't let him. So basically Sharon, who you can say what you want about Sharon, but she was a genius to let's come up with heavy metal's version of that. And they wound up doing it. The first one was a mini one in the winter of 1996. They put Biohazard on it, and the Typo Negative got on there, Megadeth, Korn, and it led to what Ozfest was like a big thing for a generation.
Yeah, I think Sharon deserves a lot of the credit. If you don't, like, those that don't know her story, like, her father was in the music industry.
John Arden, he managed Black Sabbath, if I'm not mistaken.
Originally, yeah, that's how they met. So she's the one that helped him business-wise, and, like, she ran Ozfest. Like, you have to give Sharon a lot of credit for all of that. And I can't even imagine she's feeling right now.
Oh, I mean, listen, Sharon and Ozzy went hand in hand. Sharon put up with a lot. I mean, you know, obviously, you think about Ozzy, certainly he had his things. But yeah, I think Ozfest to me is his biggest contribution outside of his music. I know, yes, the Osbournes, certainly we saw him open up into a mainstream audience. But I think if you're a rock and heavy metal fan, I think the amount of bands that got an opportunity, even other bands. I mean, Slayer played on there, Pantera, Megadeth. I mean, Judas Priest, Judas Priest got on there. Iron Maiden, although the famous Iron Maiden story at the end of the tour, at the end of the Ozfest, they egged actually Bruce Dickinson because he was bad mouthing being on the festival there. But I mean, so many bands got an opportunity to play on. Even Tommy Lee's band, Methods of Mayhem, got on the Ozfest. You'll laugh. Tommy Lee, when he was trying to be a rapper, got on there. But they gave everybody. Yeah, he was on there. In fact, they gave him 2 cracks. The Methods of Mayhem, which was awful, and then he tried to be a solo artist, and they brought him right back. So they gave so many bands opportunities. I mean, the amount of bands that they gave opportunities to on Ozfest, I mean, I think that's, to me, kept heavy metal alive in America because really, like I said, Metallica cut their hair, went away from heavy metal, and Ozzy was waving the flag. I mean, you know, Pantera, you know, for a little while before they broke up, you know, Megadeth, you know, to an extent, but Ozzy was that one figure that he kept waving the flag for heavy metal. And I think that that's why his loss is just, you know, so, you know, devastating today, to be honest.
It is. And I know you kind of scoffed at the Osbournes, but that show was the first. That show was the first of its kind.
Oh, absolutely. Well, you know, Hogan Knows Best was put on right after that, right? I mean, they did Hogan Knows Best, like, because of the Osbournes.
Yeah, all of those shows came because of the Osbournes.
Yeah, no, listen, I mean, it changed the game. I mean, it all started from an MTV Cribs episode, and they thought Ozzy was just they didn't have to rehearse him, and I mean, I remember in school, the Osbournes, you couldn't get away from the Osbournes. I mean, they were like Taylor Swift before Taylor Swift for about, I would say, a period of a year and a half to 2 years. All you heard about was the Osbournes. Literally, I mean, Kelly Osbourne even became a pop singer for a minute. I mean, that's how big the Osbournes were. People, people want to forget that now, but I mean, that's how big. I mean, they were in Pepsi Super Bowl commercials. They had, their own TV segments other than the Osbournes. They were on 2020 with Barbara Walters. I mean, it was just you couldn't get away from the Osbournes.
The amazing cameo in Austin Powers.
That too. I mean, listen, there was just Ozzy sings "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," although he probably would want to forget that one. But I mean, it was just listen, there's no question that trailblazed the Kardashians, the Real Housewives. Gene Simmons did his show Family Jewels for a bit. I mean, so many shows basically tried, some of them had more success than others, copied what the Osbournes did. I mean, that really was revolutionary in terms of reality TV. That was like the first reality TV show of its kind other than The Real World. I mean, there was The Real World for sure, and I mean, that was one thing, but the Osbournes was the first that was really like, okay, like this is different,
Yeah, it was a real life family recording their real life. It's so funny that they used to do interviews saying, who would want to watch this? Because they would say, like, the camera crews would come in and just film them eating cereal. And they would just joke, like, who's going to want to watch this? But it was insanely popular. I remember the episode where he just picked up a random ham, or Sharon picked up a random ham and, like, threw it at their neighbor.
I do remember they had problems with the neighbor. Yeah, I do remember there was episodes with the neighbor. Yeah, there was problems with the neighbor. And then I think, wasn't there Kelly had the issues with the weight. Her weight became a topic on the show. And then, Ozzy's touring life, and we saw that, the infidelity. They tackled real life issues. That was what made the Osbournes, I think, a successful show, because people, even though they weren't as maybe successful, but they related to what they were going through. I mean, they had real everyday issues, despite Ozzy being this, multi-millionaire.
Yeah, it was so funny seeing Ozzy, like this musical genius powerhouse figure, just sitting there going, you guys are all fucking crazy. Like yelling at his kids like a real person.
Because he was a real person. That's what people just thought. Ozzy was just, Ozzy dresses up and, he bites the head off a bat, and he's just this guy that just says goofy things. But he was, at the heart of it, a family man. That's what that show, why it was so successful. I mean, I see my buddy Ross Galloway says, rest in peace, the Hulkster. And I think the one similarity that I think with Hulk Hogan and Ozzy Osbourne was that when you think about wrestling and heavy metal, they were the godfathers of this modern era today. I mean, Hogan may not have been the best wrestler. I mean, there are certainly many wrestlers since in terms of athleticism and what they could do in the ring. Ozzy by far wasn't the best singer. He admittedly wasn't as musical as maybe other singers out there. I think of Geddy Lee of Rush, who could basically play like 35 instruments. I mean, but what he did in terms of allowing a movement to grow and to continue and thrive, I think Hogan did the same thing. And I think that that's what I take away most from what Hogan and Ozzy did. They were very similar in the sense that they really, without them, the modern professional wrestling and modern heavy metal music as we know it probably doesn't exist.
No, it definitely doesn't. With Hogan, you have the rock and wrestling connection, and he was the first to bring it to mainstream on that level. And then we've seen everybody after him trying to follow the blueprint, like The Rock and John Cena, that have made the jump to Hollywood and marketing themselves that way. Like, that was all Hogan.
Oh, absolutely. I think they learned from what he didn't do as well. I mean, my buddy J.R. Wind messaged me and said, bring up No Holds Barred, which might have been his best movie, but from a movie standpoint, I mean, maybe like Suburban Commando, Mr. Nanny, Gremlins 2 is cameoing, Rocky 3, obviously that's his best non-starring role. He had a major part in Rocky 3, but as a starring headline actor, I mean, his body of work was, well, suspect, but I think those actors you mentioned, The Rock, John Cena, Batista, certainly those names that crossed over and had massive amounts of success, they learned from what maybe Hogan didn't do. And that's why they had careers that were highly successful outside of wrestling.
Yeah. And that's so important because no matter how much you love wrestling, your body can only do it for so long. And you have to prepare for a life outside of wrestling because there's no like 401k with that.
Yeah, no, it's you're a 1099. You're a 1090 that which I've lived my life by is a 1099. Yeah, they you got to maximize every role. And but Hogan, listen, he was in the era, kind of like Ozzy in that they went out and performed. Hogan wrestled 300 nights a year all throughout the 80s and into the 90s, and that's what led his body to catch up to him. Ozzy certainly in the 70s and into the 80s, he partied hard and he played hard. I mean, listen, Sabbath played, and they had 8 albums in the 70s, and he toured. I think he had 12 tours, is 16 years. I mean, these guys in that era, they went out there and it's in constant motion. I mean, I think that's, they basically put their blood, sweat, and tears out there, if that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely. I think it was Gene Simmons was interviewed about this, saying that you never once saw or heard Ozzy phone it in.
No,
go through the
my dad used to always say Ozzy, it's either he sucked or he was great, but he performed. Some performers, they wouldn't go out there. Ozzy, my dad said sometimes Ozzy would sing on live, and some nights he didn't have it. Other nights he was on it. He wasn't, let's say a Steven Tyler of Aerosmith or a John Bon Jovi where he was a perfectionist, but he went out there. He was a trooper. Back to the Beginning was an example of that. He went out there despite all of his shortfalls, and he gave it 110%. Are
you sure your dad wasn't talking about Axl Rose?
No, my dad saw Black Sabbath on. He played the drums, and that always stuck out. And Ozzy wasn't the greatest of singers, but what he did was he went out there and performed. He was a performer. Yeah. That's what, I take away from him. He was definitely a showman. He was a true frontman, but he went out there and gave it 100%. I think that's what I take away most from him.
Oh, yeah. I have a question for you. Are the rumors, I've heard rumors that Back to the Beginning show is going to be released in theaters as a concert movie. Is that true?
It's been on blabbermouth.net, which we've been fortunate to be on here. And I say hello to Monday's guest, Mr. Jake Dvorak, who I'm sure will give a few thoughts on that on Monday. But they're going to put it out. It was on Blabbermouth. And somebody, in fact, on Sirius XM, I heard a mention of it. It was on Ozzy's Boneyard that they're going to put it out there. And it's going to be a theatrical release. 2026. Yep. Early 26. That's what I heard.
Oh, wow. That's going to be something to see.
Yeah, because this is the last one. And you think about 40,000 people were there back at the beginning, and 5.8 million people watched it. 5.8 million people watched it on the stream. I should have paid the what was it, $34.99, but I was like, well, for whatever reason, the idiot in me was like, well, they'll come back. The Ozzy will play one more time. He'll come back, and well, unfortunately, he didn't. He died 17 days later, actually. So that didn't work out to my advantage. But unfortunately, that's the last hurrah we're gonna get. And iTunes is certainly loving it because Ozzy's songs and albums are all up the charts now. So you know what happens always when an artist dies, their music sales go through the roof, and that's what Ozzy's is going through right now, through the roof.
Unfortunately, that does seem to be the trend.
Yeah, and Hogan, I'm sure it'll be the same thing with his moments. And I think what I'll take away most, though, from Hogan is that he did reinvent himself. I think that obviously he was able to have a couple of good years as Hollywood Hulk Hogan. The NWO certainly ushered in a new era of wrestling. I think for him to be able to go out there and add some depth to his character, I think that that's what I'll take away most from Hogan. Maybe WrestleMania 6, the match with the Ultimate Warrior, probably was the high point for him. Also, WrestleMania 3, certainly have to bring that up with Andre the Giant. That match, 90,000, 93,000 people. Then I think the match they had, the rematch, Saturday night's main event, 33 million people watched that. I think those are some of the highs. WrestleMania 1, I would throw out there the sheer magnitude of that. Probably my high moments with Hogan, and then maybe the NWO turn, and then the match with The Rock, WrestleMania 18. To have one more moment, I think that one more true one. He bounced around back and forth, but I think those are some of the moments for me that stand out most with Hogan.
Yeah, nobody saw the NWO turn happening. Nobody thought it was going to be him being the third man.
Yeah, everybody thought Macho Man Randy Savage. Everybody said maybe Sting, but it was him. And it did change wrestling. I think it changed wrestling. It ushered in WWF to compete. WCW, the only time in modern history WWF/WWE is beaten in the ratings, and they were drubbed for almost 2 years. I mean, that was all NWO. I mean, what Hogan did there, that really, it changed the game. I think, yeah, too sweet. Yep, Wolfpack, and although it had too many NWO members, I mean, it became like 55. I need a scorecard. I mean, they were putting in like, I think even Hulk Hogan's like distant nephew was a member at one point. I mean, they had people.
Horace?
I mean, yeah, Horace was in the NWO Black and White, and then they had, I mean, there were people in there that I don't even know why they were in the group. Disco Inferno, I think, was a Wolfpack member for a moment, but they didn't acknowledge him. And I mean, it became to a point that it was too many people. But I think what Hogan did there with the NWO, I mean, it was it was revolutionary, and it gave him another depth in his career because, nobody really thought he would turn heel, and he did. And he did.
That was definitely something nobody saw coming. We see it today with like the John Cena heel turn, which has been pretty good, but I don't think it was as shocking as Hogan.
Yeah, well, I think also Cena left wrestling in and out. I think wrestling, I think it's a different world too. There's social media. You have to remember, they didn't have social media then. They had America Online message chats. I didn't have America Online at the time. I was too little, but I mean, that's all you had. You had these newsletters. It wasn't, now everybody knows what happens like days before. I mean, I know you're obviously in the game. You're obviously a respected journalist. You are the female Dave Meltzer and Wade Keller. So you know all this stuff. You got the inside track. I know I'm making you laugh, but I mean, it's the truth. But it's such a different world. So it almost, to me, the impact, it doesn't have the same thing like with Hogan, because it was like, you didn't know. You really didn't know. Now everybody knows the results like 6 months before they actually wrestle. It's just so fascinating to me,
Yeah, that is a really good point.
They didn't have social media then. There was nothing. And you had to go pay for things on a pay-per-view. And now you can watch drips and drabs here and there. I mean, that's the impact of that. And Hogan left WWF. That's the other thing. He left WWF, and it made people, I think, watch WCW. I think that was another thing too. It was like, I got to watch wrestling again. I got a quick story for you. I remember when I was a kid, 1999, Hogan and Flair wrestled at Super Brawl. And I never forget this. My dad, who really didn't like wrestling, he really didn't like me wanting to watch wrestling. He would bemoan it at times. Years later, he kind of was all right with it. But I never forget, one day he called me from work to ask. He said, "Do you know who won between Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair?" And I said, "Well, Hogan won." And then he said somebody, that's what wrestling meant for a period of time there. And I think that that's because of Hogan's impact. Hogan, people wanted to know what was going on, and just a sad day in the world, really, and within 48 hours of each other. And then, if you want to throw it in threes, Malcolm Jamal Warner on Monday. I mean, Theo Huxtable. I mean,
Yeah. And then
really?
Chuck Mangione died.
I saw that one too, King of the Hill. Yeah, I mean, oh, can we stop dying? Can we like can Death take a break for tomorrow? I mean, because I got Jade May tomorrow, so I gotta make sure we take a break for it because I can't postpone that episode, and I got Dax Preacher on Sunday, so hopefully we could maybe like postpone these celebrity deaths at least until after Sunday night when Dax Preacher comes on, because I'm sure that the Institute's gonna be watching that one. I'm sure everybody else, yourself included in the WVW, is gonna be watching that episode, but hopefully these celebrity deaths can take a break for a while so we can resume coverage of the WVWF. I'm hoping, at least.
I'm so interested to see the condition of Dax Preacher's back.
Well, he spoke about I know you saw his promo earlier today, and he will address some of that, and we'll talk about his match that he had last week, which you were there for in the Parkersburg building there in Parkersburg, West
It was very, very hard to watch because that was a real weed whacker to the back.
And yeah, we saw what actually a weed whacker does to the back. And I'm telling anybody here in the chat, don't get any ideas. Well, Jake Dvorak's probably used it, and Ross Galloway would, in the past, if he was watching this still, would like to have used a weed whacker on me for some of my decisions out there. I'll leave that at that. He knows what I'm talking about. But I mean, certainly, we're going to find out what condition he's in. We've got a show coming up on Saturday, too, another WVWF show ahead. So you'll probably be there, I would imagine, for that as well.
I will be. I'm very excited to have that back-to-back like that. That's awesome.
I like the back-to-backs. IMF just did one. They did it literally back-to-back days, but they did a back-to-back. I always like those back-to-backs.
Yeah, we're going to see the beginning of the tag team tournament.
Yes.
To crown new tag team champions. That's going to be exciting. We're going to see the 6-man tag between the Institute and Nate Steele, Tony Sane, and Damian Abel.
Well, we know the history between some of those men. I mean, we know what Tony Sane and Wyatt Black have put each other through. And then you've got Damian Abel, who James Enoch had plenty to say about here on previous episodes. And James Enoch, you were not happy about, by the way, as well last week, which I watched
Enoch
that match.
Is a bum. He is a bum. He is a horrible monster that should be stricken from the record. She should be stripped of the title and kicked out for what he did to the fabulous Phoebe Harper. It was disgusting. It was more disturbing than the weed whacker.
Well, I mean, I'm sure we'll explain that when he returns to Sportswire, and Wyatt Black is now in the Institute. I mean, I didn't necessarily see that one coming, but he is the controversy king, and he always finds a way to lurk. And yeah, I mean, this is a situation that's going to rear its head undoubtedly this Saturday, and I'm very excited about that. And tomorrow, Jade May will be here, a women's champion. She will be here at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. So I'm excited about that here. It's going to be very hot in the Big Apple. We're going to heat things up even further, just literally less than 24 hours away from what's ahead over at the Richardson Building in Parkersburg, West Virginia, 325 7th Street. We'll be plugging that a lot. I'm going to keep you for a few more minutes, but I want to ask you, do you have a favorite Ozzy album first, a favorite Ozzy song, or favorite Ozzy songs, or an Ozzy album? Because I know you love Ozzy, not as much as Steel Panther, but I know you still love Ozzy a little bit there.
Probably Blizzard of Oz.
Yeah, that was the first one.
Classic.
No Bone Movies.
I've always had a soft spot for like Mr. Crowley.
Mr. Crowley, yep. I don't know. Don't ask me. I do a news show yesterday, and I was quoting it. I don't know. Don't ask me. I don't know. Goodbye to Romance was on there. Another one. My favorite is No Bone Movies, the one that nobody talks about. No Bone Movies. No one talks about that song. That's probably one of my favorite songs off that. Obviously, yes, Crazy Train's on there, but that was just unbelievable. I mean, Ozzy, people thought he was dead, left for the count, and Blizzard of Oz and Diary of a Madman. I still think they were
Diary of a Madman. Yeah, that would probably be my close second. Yeah. Semi-interesting story. My mom's first husband, my mom's ex-husband, is a pilot. Pretty big pilot. Like he flew Shamu and Budweiser over the Super Bowl. Like he's a big deal. His plane was hangared or whatever, like 2 down from the where Randy Rhodes' plane was.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So that was like one of their first dates was that like he took her there to see like where the plane was, like, so to see like those pictures and everything is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, and Randy
Not
Rhoads.
not of the crash, but like of
No,
the
I
where
got
the
that, but I mean Randy Rhoads, the loss of Randy Rhoads, and just truly, I mean what he did, and such a tough job to fill those shoes. Brad Gillis, I did it briefly, and he couldn't do it. Although they went to a band, I've actually, I may get on Sportswire Radio Night Ranger, which I would love to get them on now, especially because Brad Gillis played Ozzy. But he went there, and Jake E. Lee, was great to see Jake E. Lee finally get back on stage, and he went through some things. He only got killed walking his dog in Las Vegas, and he had Bark at the Moon, which is always to me an underrated album that Ozzy had. I always liked the Circle of Waiting for Darkness was one of my favorite ones off that. That was just to me such a great song on there. And Center of Eternity, that's the one. Center of Eternity, that's the one. I just always loved that fast-paced tempo on there. I mean, that was another album that kind of got lost in the shuffle a little bit. Later on, it came back, and then obviously Zakk Wylde. Zakk was some people would say the closest person to replace Randy Rhoads. I don't know about that, but he did have, an album that I really enjoyed, which is No More Tears, which I did think consistently, top to bottom, may have been his best album after his first two albums. So, I mean, he had a great run. And his last album, it won 2 Grammys. I mean, Patient Number 9, Tony Iommi's on there for a couple of songs. Zakk Wylde came back. So, I mean, listen, he had an amazing run. And, at least we got to see that closure from the Prince of Darkness.
Yeah. The image of him singing Mama, I'm Coming Home being the last song that he'll ever perform, like, if that doesn't get you.
Yeah, I mean, it just it was that turned out to be one of his staple songs, and he wrote it because he was on the road and he didn't get to see Sharon often, and that was his song, his tribute to Sharon. And I also thought it was ironic his biggest hit was with Lita Ford. I mean, Miss Lita Ford of Kiss Me Deadly, and that was his biggest hit. He had a top 10 hit there, and that was Close My Eyes Forever, and he had a few other hits. But truly, look, he made the New York Post, which is just, Ozzy, and I'm sure tomorrow will be Hulk Hogan on the front page. I have no doubt about that. So I'm saving that one. But I'm gonna miss. I tell you what, Ozzy probably hits me a little more than Hogan. I got to be honest, being having some of these come on. I did like Hulk, and I see some people liked Hulk. I mean, my buddy Anthony Finkel, who I know went to bed. But I mean, for me, Ozzy, he just had such an influence. I mean, I even remember as a kid in high school, I tried to do the Ozzy on my hands because Ozzy, famously had the, Ozzy tattooed, and I remember just his image. And just what he was, and just his overall music, and even his later stuff. I mean, I Don't Want to Stop, and I mean Black Rain, and just he had It Gets Me Through. I mean, he had some other good songs too. See You on the Other Side, I quoted on Instagram. I mean, so yeah, Cato's here. I know Cato sent me a voicemail. If he was looking to pop on, I could send him a link. If he just wants to say something, that's fine too. But anything else you want to say? I know you're going to write something, I'm sure, about this. I have no doubt you're going to write something about this. And I know I'll see you here coming up very soon again, because I got Dax Preacher and Jade May on here. And I won't announce Wyatt Black coming on, because then you won't come back on Sports right away. So no Wyatt Black appearances so far in the future. But anything else you want to say? What's that?
That's good. Your ratings won't crash.
Well, they've crashed enough. I don't need them to crash further. Now, I'm only kidding. It's a joke. They have crashed, but that's a different show for a different time. But I mean, yeah, I don't know about Wyatt Black coming on soon, but I had James Enoch on, and you weren't too thrilled with James Enoch, and nobody seems to be too thrilled with him. But anything else you want to say
on Phoebe Harper?
I watched the match. I watched it. I watched the whole thing. I mean, I saw the whole thing, and I had no idea that was coming. Listen, I had no idea that was coming, and I watched the match twice. I watched it, and I'm sure we'll talk about it. I'm sure I'll talk about it tomorrow with Jade May. I'll ask Jade May her thoughts. Dax Preacher, I'll talk about it with him, Mr. Beefamania.
Yeah. He took advantage of the fact that Lovable Lester was on vacation.
Yep.
To do this heinous crime.
It's terrible.
It's disgusting.
It is. No, listen, I understand, and we're going to try to get the answers to it. I doubt we will tomorrow, but I am going to try. But I got to give you a plug. I want to give 2 plugs before I let you go. I want to, first of all, plug the WVWF YouTube page, because the WVWF has got some new subscribers since we last went out here on Sportswire talking WVWF. So hit the sub button for the WVWF. You can watch some of the most recent footage. You can check out what the WVWF has to offer. You can do that right here. Also, Courtney has a page, which I want to plug in a minute because I'm going to do that. But first, if you are here, hit the sub button for the WVWF. I would appreciate that very much. And also, if you're out there on Instagram, if you're out there on Facebook, other places you're on social media, go out there and sub and follow the WVWF. Also, let's put up the WVWF's page on Instagram in a minute, but I want to put up this here because this is where you've become famous. I got to ask for your autograph one day because you're on Slam magazine, which I've talked about quite a bit. I even saw you did a podcast not too long ago, somebody else's, and obviously it was much better than being here on Sportswire. So we'll let you go back to that. I'm only as a joke. It's a joke. Got to have some humor, but it was a great podcast, and I recommend everybody watching you on it. But that's Courtney's WWF page, but also where you can catch her on Slam at slamwrestling.net. And I have that link right in front of me because technology is a funny thing. It's a funny thing, Courtney, because when I click on one thing, it gives me something else. But there you go. So I'm sure Courtney will write about this. I'm sure Courtney will talk about the WVWF coming up. I'm excited. And I just wanted to get your thoughts because you're kind of like some of us here, into metal, into wrestling. And I think they go hand in hand. That's what I'm going to take away, Courtney, is that regardless of what you thought about Hulk Hogan or Ozzy Osbourne, they went hand in hand with the success and the growth of professional wrestling and heavy metal. I mean, I really believe that. I believe that.
Yeah.
And even Ozzy, Ozzy was a part of WrestleMania too. WrestleMania, WWF Raw. I mean, he was a big figure.
Yeah. I mean, nobody had done what Ozzy had done. Like, Black Sabbath was one of the biggest groundbreaking bands, and he left and went on his own and had arguably a bigger career as a solo artist.
People had a much bigger career, much bigger. His career as a solo artist, way bigger career. I mean, Sabbath is influential, no question. But to me, I feel like Black Sabbath became more influential after Ozzy left. I wasn't alive in the 70s and the 80s, but I think Ozzy's career, the success that he had, helped Black Sabbath be as influential as it was. I just think, to me, Ozzy was just, I mean, he was, you look at heavy metal, it was him and Metallica. To me, the 2 biggest heavy metal acts of all time are Ozzy and Metallica. I think that's no question. Anybody going to disagree?
No.
The biggest album sales, the influences, the amount of songs they had, they were, they crossed over. I mean, I think Ozzy is one of the few people, to spend a minute on this, that was in a band and then as a solo artist was able to have even bigger success. There's very few people that have, David Lee Roth, had some success. He didn't quite have the success. I mean, Sammy Hagar had success before he joined Van Halen, but there are very few. Chris Cornell tried it a couple times, didn't quite work. I mean, very few people in history have gone on. Steve Perry kind of did it. Steve Perry had some success as a solo artist. There's very few. Phil Collins is probably, an Ozzy reference Phil Collins in an interview. Phil Collins I'd probably throw in there, but
probably the biggest would, the closest would be Phil Collins, I'd say.
Phil Collins, I think, had a lot of success. Rod Stewart, but Rod Stewart was so 60 years ago. I mean, but in terms of like rock and roll acts, I think Ozzy certainly is the one that was able to truly have a bigger career himself than with a group. because nobody has been able to really to kind of crack that nugget, and he was able to do it, and he did it and some. He betted it on himself. He had Sharon, and he was able to be as influential as he did, and to have the amount of success. Like I said, the last album even won 2 Grammys. His last album won 2 Grammys, and he had Patient Number 9, and I mean, he really was still, relevant. I think that's, to me, Ozzy was always relevant. That's the thing about him. Ozzy, no matter if it was in the 80s, the 90s, certainly the 2000s, the last decade, this decade, Ozzy was still a relevant artist, and almost nobody can say that. And he did that. And I think that's what I take away, and Hulk, and, terrible loss. And he had beer, the beer. I don't know if anybody tried the beer yet. I don't know if anybody tried the Hulk Hogan beer. But, but it was great. It was a great thing. And hello to Princess Jade. And she wrote on X how sad she was about these losses. And, yeah, a lot of people are. That's why I wanted to spend some time. And thank you, Courtney, for all you do. Thank you for all you do for wrestling. Thank you for all you do for us. And I look forward to seeing you on more podcasts, not on this one. No, please come back to Sportswire. I won't bring Wyatt Black on anytime soon. Well, maybe I will, but not for a while. But I'll bring you back on. And we got a lot to talk about here. Daniel Tafua was here last week. That was memorable. Daniel Tafua. I mean, that was fun. Daniel Tafua, and that was great. And we have
challenging Brohemoth.
Brohemoth was great, but like his Wi-Fi was really bad. I was like, I needed, like, you remember you remember in science, you're a teacher, you know this. Remember in science class, you had to do like those science projects. Remember one year I think it was in the 7th or 8th grade, and we had to like try something to like connect with like I remember going to Radio Shack, such a thing, and buying like all these like really fancy wires and trying to connect them and like cup a signal, like a radio thing almost. That was kind of, to me, with like Brohemoth. I was kind of like this the whole time. I couldn't hear him. It reminded me of like my 7th or 8th grade science project. It was like, I'm trying to hear you. It was great to see you, but nevertheless, 80% of the time I couldn't hear him. So yeah, it was great to see.
Unfortunately. But he heard Tafua challenge him. Bro's been a little hot about that.
I know. Well, Brohemoth was on here and was like, what are you doing? And Tafua was here last week insisting that he still wants him. And he didn't learn from his battles with the Soul Taker. What can I say?
No.
Yeah, well. And also, I want to say my condolences to Princess Jade. She lost her cat and her grandpa today. I'm so sorry about that. My thoughts and prayers about the loss of your cat and your grandpa. I rescued 2 pets before, so I do understand that. And your grandfather, my thoughts and prayers, absolutely. So, yeah, my thoughts and prayers. And we'll be praying. And Courtney, like I said, I'm praying for no celebrity deaths the next few days so I can have Jade May and Dax Preacher on. So hopefully, even if you're not a praying person, pray for us here on Sportswire.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Courtney. Thank you for all you do. This was fun. I'm sure we'll have a few more guests to pop on here over the next hour. And I look forward to seeing you around back after the Sunday show with Dax Preacher. We'll figure a day to bring you back next week. And thank you for all you do, and keep up the great work. And you are an influence to us all. And you are as inspirational as Ozzy and Hulk, because you are our female Dave Meltzer and Wade Keller. So thank you, Courtney.
You're ridiculous, but I appreciate you.
I know I'm ridiculous. I know I know I'm ridiculous, but I try. But thank you, Courtney. I will let you go. I don't want to be further ridiculous to you, and I'll see you next week.
All right, bye.
That was Miss Courtney Wood, and we will certainly have more people to come on and share some of their thoughts on the passings of Hulk Hogan and Ozzy Osbourne. Obviously, they pass away here, and definitely unexpected. And Hulk Hogan passes away at the age of 71. Ozzy Osbourne passes away at the age of 76. And just a really tough day for the world. A very tough day. And we want to give our thoughts and prayers. And yeah, I'm going to try to get some IMF guys. I'm going to definitely... I'm going to try. It all depends on who wants to come on, who's my guest. But, yeah, IMF's definitely coming back on soon. And I just have to figure out what days I'm available. But We also know I got to wait to bring some IMF guys in because they're just putting out the One Night Stand and Shot of War shows out. So I see those matches have just been or just starting to be released. So once the whole thing is released, I can bring everybody on and we can talk about that. So yeah, we'll have some days available between now and the following week. So yes, I definitely want to get some IMF. Were you there at both shows, by the way? Were you there at One Night Stand and Shot of War? Were you there at both shows? I think so, yeah. But were you at One Night Stand? Because One Night Stand One Night Stand was the Double Z Bar and Grill, and then Shot of War was the next night, right? So you were at the Saturday show. Yeah, I'll probably have somebody. I mean, there's always somebody that comes on here. I mean, but tonight I'm really talking about Hulk Hogan and Ozzy Osbourne, but yeah, I mean, I definitely would love to have more people on, but it's also Rome isn't built in a day, and there's a number of people that I'd like to get on from the IMF, and yeah, I mean, we'll have to find out. But yeah, definitely very excited. Friday, yeah, Friday was Shot of War, and then Saturday was One Night Stand. Right, Saturday was the one that Ace Christian was at, and Friday was the one that Gabe Sayers was at. Thank you. Yep, that was the one where Gabe Sayers wrestled Anthony. But don't spoil it for us because we haven't watched the show yet. I haven't seen the matches, so I can't have you spoil it because if you spoil it, then that wouldn't be any fun. But I did hear it was really good shows. I did hear from a couple of people, I won't say who, that they really did enjoy the shows, and they're looking forward to more of them. So, and I hope that more of them come out. I kind of like the whole back-to-back days. Those are some really good shows that you get a chance to see people at. And I think that that's what should be more ahead. And also, if you're here on Sportswire Radio, please go follow us, like, share, and subscribe. And I'm here tomorrow night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, with the WVWF Women's Champion Jade Knight. Saturday, I'm here at Torrance Banks of Home, House of Misfits Entertainment, Backyard Wrestling. I'm also here Sunday night. I'm here Sunday night with the WVWF Mountain State Champion, Dax Preacher. Monday night, we're here with Jake Dvorak, the All Wrestling Matters Hardcore Champion and the NEW Northeast Champion. And happy birthday. I will wish you a birthday. Was your birthday? I thought your birthday was last week. But you did. Your birthday was last week, and you did. Yeah, I did see that. Yes, you tagged me. I saw the photos, and you must have been very happy because Justin Parsley was back. He was back in the ring, and although he was back at Summer Bash, you got to see him back in the Palo Community Center. So for you, that was a very good experience, a very good moment, and I hope that there's more moments for you. And yeah, more moments ahead, more stuff, and I definitely hope that. You'll get a chance to see more action ahead. And if you are here, certainly hit the sub button for us. And we'll have more coverage ahead coming up very soon. And we'll see who else comes on here, wants to say a few words. And I obviously am very excited about the future. But today is one for mourning. It's mourning the loss of Hulk Hogan and Ozzy Osbourne. And certainly my thoughts and prayers go out to everybody impacted. And yeah, your birthday was in February. I don't know why you said your birthday Saturday. You had a birthday Saturday, but I thought your birthday was already passed. I thought your birthday was like months ago. That's what I thought. Well, I'm glad you had a good birthday, and I hope you have more birthdays ahead. I mean, that's all I could really say. And I hope we have a lot more birthdays because Ozzy didn't get a chance to have one more birthday, but neither did Hulk. And Hulk's birthday was right away. Hulk Hogan's birthday was going to be in, I think, like 2 weeks from now. And he unfortunately doesn't get a chance to celebrate that birthday. And again, my thoughts and prayers go out to everyone impacted by the loss of Hulk Hogan. And yeah, it's a tough one, Nolan Money McDermott. If you'd like to share a thought or two, or anybody else wants to share a thought or two in the chat, let me know. And yeah, rip Hulkster. Hulkster dead at the age of 71. And what you're gonna do when the Hulkster runs wild on you? And Hulkamania definitely ran wild. January 23rd, 1984, it was born, and it lasted 40 years. And obviously an amazing career, but cut short. And would have liked to have seen him one more time. I definitely would have liked to have seen Hulk Hogan one more time, but wasn't in the cards. But we certainly have those memories, and the memories will last us lifetimes, and it'll last us more than I think what we'll do in this world and on this earth. And you had a party for your cousins, and that's great. Thank you for Lyric. And I went to the Royal Rumble in 2024. During that weekend, we went to a store in Tampa. We got to see him. Didn't say anything to him, but still got to experience the legend. Speaking of people that may want to show up on here, but if not, we'll read their comments. Mr. Justin Parsley, that's going to make Princess Jade a very happy person. Rip, Hogan, and Ozzy, they say death comes in threes. I don't know if we'll be able to handle any more of them. Well, Malcolm Jamal Warner died on Monday, so technically, sir, there was deaths in threes. Theo Huxtable, Ozzy Osbourne, and Hulk Hogan. Well, the Malcolm Jamal Warner one was a total accident. I mean, he drowned in Costa Rica. Ozzy, was definitely struggling, and Hulk had cardiac arrest, although I think he had a neck surgery not too long ago. And and my thoughts about the cat, and it definitely sucks about the cat. I've went through a few cats passings. Listen, unfortunately, I said, Mr. Parsley, I hope there's no more celebrity deaths for a while. I need a break. I was supposed to have a show tonight. And so you don't think you'll get the business. Now, you think maybe I could put a call, Hogan at least is a little closer. Now, I know his deaths was out in Birmingham, England. So maybe, with Hogan being a little closer, you want to give me the telephone number, sir, Mr. Parsley, and I could call up your funeral home and maybe see if I could put a word in to have Hulk Hogan get buried at your funeral home. And weird work. Obviously, well, it's paying the bills, right? It's paying the bills. It's paying the bills. Would anybody want to see Anthony Steele come on to talk about the passing of Hulk Hogan and Ozzy Osbourne? If you're out there right now, would you want to see Anthony Steele? Yeah, that's right. Anthony Steele. Would you want to see him talk about the passing of Hulk Hogan? Ozzy Osbourne. You want to talk about guys that may have a thing or two to say about it? Would you like to see it? Would you like to see it? Because I think there are some people would like to maybe see Anthony Steele. Maybe he has a thought or two on Ozzy Osbourne. He is a very controversial figure. He is obviously somebody that he may have plenty to say on it. Listen, you want to talk about figures that are just as controversial as Hulk Hogan and Ozzy Osbourne and even Theo Huxtable, although I think Theo Huxtable wasn't as controversial. More Bill Cosby was. But if you want to see Anthony Steele come on, we could certainly arrange that, I'm sure. Maybe he would like to show his face and tell the world what Hulk Hogan and Ozzy Osbourne meant to him. Certainly, Anthony Steele and Ozzy Osbourne probably share a lot of things in common, and they're obviously two men that have been revolutionary, two men that have been legendary, certainly in the backyard, the underground wrestling circuit. Would anybody like to see? I think people want to see Anthony Steele. Would you? So if you're here in the chat, yes, thank you, J.R. Wynn. J.R. Wynn is here, and J.R. Wynn, I did bring up No Holds Barred, and I did bring it up, and Hogan and Ozzy, I think, did share a haircut for him, or maybe Ozzy and Steele shared a haircut. Yeah, for like the briefest minute, because Ozzy only had short hair for a minute. But yeah, don't worry, JR, and I'll be supporting you for your campaign. And tell me what I need to do, and I'll do it. But I love having Steele to talk if he's in a good mood. But apparently, we may be receiving word. Yeah, Ozzy and Steele. Yeah, Ozzy and Steele. The ratings will go up. Steele and Osbourne. They definitely are. Two interesting men. The Diary of a Madman, the most controversial figure in backyard underground wrestling history. Mama, I'm coming home. Steele is singing, and we have received word that he's here. And Mama, I'm coming home. Ozzy, you are kind of our Ozzy here. We have the Prince of Darkness, the new Prince of Darkness, Anthony Steele. Now, I people have told me you were on some podcast. I don't even know who the guy's name was. But you've come home like Ozzy sang to Sharon, Mama, I'm coming home. I'm not here to talk IMF just yet because I didn't get a chance to watch the shows that just got uploaded on YouTube. I'm sure we'll talk about that when the time is right. But you are the Prince of Darkness. You do look like him a little bit. And I was wondering what your thoughts were on the passings of Ozzy Osbourne and Hulk Hogan, because I'm sure you've heard of both guys.
Okay, so Ozzy was probably the one that hit the hardest.
Ozzy did hit me hard. Ozzy hit me hard.
Ozzy hit me hardest because that was like growing up, that was like me and my dad's thing, where we listened to Ozzy and Def Leppard, AC/DC.
Yeah.
Like that was me and his thing. So like hearing that he passed, bro, I was like, what the bleep?
Yeah. He just had back to the beginning. Yeah, he just performed, and you know,
like that's just crazy. And Hogan, man, like, and they always say bad things come in pairs of threes. So
well, Theo Huxtable technically started this. He drowned from the Cosby Show.
yeah, like, bro, and I'm just sitting here. I'm like we're losing legend after legend. Like,
don't die on us. You're a legend here on Sportzwire. You better not die.
Some people might hate this, but who would have thought that Hulk Hogan would die before Ric Flair? Like,
oh yeah, people asked me about that today. People asked me about that.
It's crazy, man. Like, just to see that go on and shit. You know, it's insane, man. Because like you said, seeing his last performance, like you could tell that he was not okay. You could tell, and he knew it was about his time, and it's hard. And like me and my mom had the conversation, and we agreed that when this happened, like this was probably going to be one of the hardest deaths of the rock and roll scene.
Yeah, Ozzy. I got to be honest, Ozzy. I remember Dimebag Darrell. When I played bass, I covered Cowboys from El Pantera. That hit me because it was, a horrible assassination. I remember Eddie Van Halen, where I was when he died in 2020. Scott Weiland, Chris Cornell, Chester Bennington. But this one was like, oh boy, that was like a gut punch, because literally Back to the Beginning was just a few weeks ago. And it looked like Ozzy was going to at least hang on for a little while longer. And he was Ozzy. I mean, he was really so influential. And even in the wrestling world. Yeah, Ozzy, I got to be honest, Ozzy was probably the toughest death I've seen in music. And I've had on the big heavy metal bands who were influenced by Ozzy. So Ozzy definitely hit me more than any other death I've experienced in my life. Lane Staley, I remember Lane Staley. I was wasn't little, but I was little enough when he died from Alice in Chains. But this one was like, it hit home. It hit home. It was a tough one.
I'm reading these comments, and Parsley, you got me cracking the fuck up.
Parsley, yeah, he's he wants to do thing, and Ox McCoy is here. People wanted to see you, and I figured we could bring you on here for a non-controversial segment. I'm sure we'll have plenty to talk about soon in the aisle, because I haven't got a chance to watch the footage, but we'll bring you back on when the time is right. I'm sure you want to talk about that.
I will say this just to bring it up.
Bring it up.
Gabe, good hanging with you again, boss. Good sharing the ring with you. Fucking loved it. Killed it. Had the people invested. And can't wait to see what the future holds.
I hope he comes back. I hope he comes back to Palo and the Double Z Bar and Grill. I hope to see him there. I'd love to see him.
I mean, yeah, I'd love to see him back there, but I'm not talking about him coming to me.
Oh, well, maybe he would want to come to you. Do you want to maybe
go there?
Oh, you're going to go there. So, I mean, so you're planning maybe to show up to a GTS show as a fan? Are you maybe thinking about maybe showing up and, I don't know, maybe buying a ticket? Or, I mean, they have shows. They're running a show coming up this weekend. Are you going to a GTS show this weekend? Is that what you're telling us?
Never say never, kid.
That's a different guess. I'm going to leave that. I'm staying out of that discussion for a night. But I will say that, what's your thoughts on Hogan? But now, what's your thoughts on Hogan? Let's hear what you have to say. Probably controversial. Yeah, this is more controversial.
This is a controversial one.
Yeah, I figured that.
Look, I'll say this. Everyone knows the miraculous story of what Hulk Hogan did. But there's one thing that I will agree with a couple of the wrestlers on that we've had a conversation about tonight, and that is, without Hulk Hogan, wrestling would not be where it is today.
I think as a person, I think it's two separate conversations. As a person, Terry Bollea, and as Hulk Hogan, it's two separate things. Yeah, I understand.
like I said earlier to some of the boys, it's kind of like the Paul Heyman thing and Chris Benoit. And in wrestling, Hulk Hogan helped revolutionize the art of professional wrestling.
Yeah.
But as a person, he made a shitty mistake. And he did something that...
Well, he said some things that we certainly do not want to say on Sportswire. Yeah, he said some things that we're not going to go there with.
And that's the thing, is like, where the way I look at it, I don't look at it from a personal standpoint. I look at it from a wrestler standpoint. Like, that man paved the way for guys like me, guys like Ox, Omen, Soldier, Gabe, fucking Grim. Me.
Yeah, everybody. Listen, we all owe a debt of gratitude to him for what he did in where we are today in wrestling. No question. There's no question that what he did speaks for itself.
And that's the thing that a lot of people are overshadowing with the negativity of what he did as himself, not Hulk Hogan. Is like, Hulk Hogan was one of the greats. Like, Hulk Hogan helped create WWE, the biggest wrestling spectacle, the wrestling fucking show in the world. And like, without Hulk Hogan, you know, the thing we watch on Monday nights, Monday nights, Tuesday nights.
Yeah, we're talking about rock and wrestling, wrestling crossing over. Yeah, all that stuff. We owe to Hulk Hogan. Yeah.
And that's the thing with it, is like, we just got to understand in this time that, you know, the passing of Hulk Hogan was very, very unexpected. Like, like, no one could have pictured this just popping the fuck up. And like, y'all, the one thing I will say to people is, take it as this. Don't look at the personal aspect. Look at the wrestling aspect, and look what he's done for us in this.
Yeah.
Like, we've got some laughs where he said the wrong fucking arena at WrestleMania 30. Like, we got one of the greatest matches of all time, Shawn Michaels versus Hulk Hogan at SummerSlam. Like, dude, like, him versus Andre the Giant. Like,
yeah. Ultimately, I mean, he had some good moments too. He had WrestleMania 6, WrestleMania 3. You know, he had some moments. I mean, you know, he definitely did.
And you know, it's one of those things that nowadays people just mask everything with negativity. And it's like, once something negative happens, no one wants to reflect on the goodness that they've done, the good stuff that they've caused. And it's what sucks in this industry. It's what sucks in the world. Is, you know, I always say about everything, one bad seed ruins the entire batch. And it's like, one bad thing happens and it ruins everything. Which, I mean, like I said, he made a bad mistake. He did it to himself, and you know, he owned up to it. Like, there was no taking it back. There was no saying he didn't do it. It was fucking live. Like, everyone saw it. Like, but
no, he did plenty of things that, you know, you should definitely take back. And, you know, unfortunately, that's kind of what's dogged him and why his legacy is kind of what it was. You know, but listen, some people for a long time thought Ozzy biting the head off a bat was bad. People thought him pissing on the Alamo or, you know, licking his own thing. But Ozzy, though, I think people look at him more fondly than Hogan, because Ozzy deep down was a lovable guy. You know, the Osbournes, you know, certainly people of a generation watched that, and he was an everyman. That's what Ozzy was. He didn't have the most talent, but he went out there and gave it his all, and he was revolutionary. I mean, in some ways they were similar, other ways they were not. But where can you remember in our generation two iconic figures dying in 40? That's why I'm here tonight. Dude, you know, here I would have had Comatose on talking about TPW, which you would definitely not have been tuned into. But I felt that responsibility. You see what I mean? You wouldn't have tuned in. We would have been saying some controversial things about that, but we're not going to go there. But we're just not. But the point is that I feel like there's an obligation to talk about this for a few minutes, because these two people dying within 48 hours from each other, I can't remember, you know, this people of this magnitude dying this near each other.
Right.
Yeah, and by the way, Anthony Steele,
Yeah,
she
I saw it. I'll give a shout out to Lyric. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Hope you have a great day, and I hope it's a better
Congratulations on
one.
making it to 9. Hopefully, I make it to 25 by the end of the year.
Well, you'll have your day. You'll be here. You're December 29th.
But,
You'll be here.
but one thing I'll say to everybody, especially on the Ozzy aspect, man, is like that man has shown that if there's anything in this life that you can overcome, it is everything. Like this man went through hell. Like his story's been told over and over and over and over again. He's overcame drugs. He's overcame addiction. He's overcame pain, torture, mentally and
Look what he
physically.
went through to play that last show.
Like,
Look at what he went through.
like this
that
man
last show.
literally, they had a chair specially made for him because he knew that he couldn't stand up on his own. But he said by God, he was going to make it on that stage. Like
he did.
That's the one thing I'll like. That's the one thing me and my dad talked about when, like, my wrestling started growing and growing, is no matter if I'm a good guy, no matter if I'm a bad guy, like the one thing I want everyone to know is, like, I love and respect everybody that I work with, love and respect all the fans, whether they love me, whether they hate me. I do this because of the same reason why y'all watch it. We love this. And that's exactly what embodied Ozzy and Hogan, is they loved what they did. They loved every aspect, every second of it, and they didn't want to take a lot of time away from it. Like, and it's now that they're gone, the only thing that we could do is push forward and show them, not only them but their families, their friends, and the entire world how much they really impacted us.
I think people will do it. I think Ozzy will be one that I think people will do it for a longer period of time because of how fondly he was remembered and his influence. I mean, I do think Hulk will definitely be memorialized quite a bit on WWE TV. I know you're going to go in a few minutes, but I think that Ozzy, he's going to be memorialized in a way that's going to be right up there to me with some of the all-time greats in music, period. Michael Jackson. I mean, people talk about Michael Jackson's death, John Lennon's death. It's going to be right up there in that. Eddie Van Halen. But even this one, I think is a little bigger than Eddie Van Halen's death. But I think that Ozzy will get that immortalization. Hogan, if I don't know if it'll be as much. We'll find out. I mean, we're going to find out. But I think Ozzy, he will get that because he influenced 5 generations. You remember, Ozzy was the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, the 10s, and up into this. He's going to get that. He's going to get it. Hogan, I mean, we'll find out. We'll find out for sure. Anything else you want to say? I know you're a busy man. You obviously got stuff you got to do, but anything else you want to say to the world and anything else out there? I mean, we're now on Sportswire, we're going to memorialize you. Don't you worry. But obviously, hopefully that'll be in like 60 years from now, 60, 70 years from now. I mean, you're growing your hair, you're looking good. Jade is even liking you, giving you respect. I mean, who knows? I can't wait to watch what you did here at these 2 shows.
The one thing I'll say is watch what happened this past weekend and just stay tuned for what's to come, man.
Good.
Stay tuned for what's to come.
Well, I got IMF coverage coming up. I mean, I got, we have to figure the date out, so we'll talk about it.
I'd love to come back. I'd love to give my feedback of what transpired.
Well, maybe next week we can give that feedback. Maybe next week we can give that feedback.
I'll say this: it was a fun ride. It was a great weekend. I mean, double Z's, man. Like, we had about 150 people there.
Yeah, I heard. I heard you guys did really well. I think somebody said. I think Justin mentioned it.
Like that show went with a bang. It was all around great. Palo show, another great show. It was a moment in time where, like, I felt myself again, and it's those moments, And you know what? Here, this is going to be controversial, but not really. Let's break the fourth wall.
Break the fourth wall.
Parsley, I know you're watching. It was great traveling with you again. You know, we always have fun traveling back and forth together. You know, it's an honor to work with him. It's an honor to call him my friend, my brother.
He's a good man. You know, I want to say I was one of the guys that said Justin Parsley should be on Sportswire 2+ years ago. You're welcome.
Like, I'll say this. Parsley is one of the biggest reasons why, like, I love traveling to IMF. It's like that moment in time where, like, me and him just vibe out, just fucking as me and my boys say, rock out with your cock out. Like,
well, that's on his podcast. You know, we can't do that here.
But like, it's those moments, man, where like wrestling is not even like wrestling's in our mind, but wrestling's not even in front of us at that point. Where two dudes being dudes just hanging.
Well, you're traveling. Listen, you're on a journey. Very few people get a chance to go on that journey. And you guys have been in different places. And look at where you've ended up today. You're in a company that has hundreds of people showing up. You're in a company that has a lot of fans and is like you guys work your way up the ladder. And it makes the journey that much more rewarding. And I think that's why I always said Anthony Steele is a fantastic talent. You know, if he says certain things, but I was always like, no, Anthony should be here. I mean, I know that's what I've always stuck to it. And I certainly believe in IMF. You have shown in the ring what you can do more so sometimes than what you've said here or others podcasts that I understand you've been on. So to me, I look forward to you showing more about your in-ring ability, and I look forward to next week finding a day to allow you to talk about that maybe.
Oh, yeah. And while I'm here for a couple more minutes,
because I got somebody else for you to come on here.
Let me ask this question.
Ask me a question.
Me and Parsley talked about it. We joked about it, but let's get the opinions of y'all. Do you think Anthony Steele and Justin Parsley should create a vlog of how we travel, what we talk about, what we do on our way to and from Palo, Iowa?
Well, will it be made to the point that we can show it on Sportswire?
Yeah, it'll be made to the point where you can show it on Sportswire.
Because we do have bands that come on here that were influenced by Ozzy Osbourne. We want to keep the gravy train going, but I think you should, because Sean Jovi has a vlog. I mean, if he shows a vlog with Nicholas Crenton and Darkfire, who are far less interesting than Justin Parsley and Anthony Steele, yeah, I would do it. I mean, Comatose has kind of done a vlog. He kind of did it on his journey to BTW. I mean, you only live once. First of all, you only live once.
Well, Parsley looks like we got our answer.
Brandon Castelli's done it. I mean, Brandon's done it from his DBW, VTW tours. I think you and Justin would be very fascinating. That would be a very fascinating journey. And I think it would be something a lot of people would like to see.
Here you go. Hey, Parsley, you think I should I air out one of our secrets about our little drives?
Don't air the secrets. This is about, don't do it yet. You want to come on next week. What are you doing next Friday?
Next Friday, probably work around 10 o'clock. But if we can do it about 8 o'clock my time, should be good.
I think I could swing you. Yeah, I can get you here for an hour next Friday. I should be able to. I come back from Manhattan. Yeah. You want to talk about it next Friday? We could talk about it next Friday.
That's fine. Fine with me.
All right. Well, we're going to save that at that. And I got to get to a couple more guests before I let you go. So go ahead. Thank you as always. I look forward to seeing you next Friday. And don't bite the heads off a bat. Don't say anything controversial with the N-word. And we could see you next Friday. Yeah. And also, before you go, you ended up bringing one of the best in the business on an episode honoring two of the best from their respective industries. See what I mean? There were people, and I was like, should we bring on Anthony Steele? And it's inspired another man that you've traveled with also, not in the company you work for, to come on here to say a few things. And I am very excited to hear that. So I'm going to say thank you very much, Anthony. And we'll see you next Friday, because we want to keep the less controversial train going.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all. Y'all have a wonderful night.
Thank you, Anthony Steele. And we have Comatose we're going to bring on after this person comes on, and we're going to do that here in a minute. So we're certainly waiting for him to come on. He's got the bat signal. So yeah. And also Justin Parsley wanted to say, yeah, I like him too. I always liked him, long as he's saying things not too controversial. But we are waiting for this person to come on here to say hello and give a few thoughts before he goes about the one and only Ozzy Osbourne and Hulk Hogan, another man that's been revolutionary. And we will certainly do that shortly. And if you are here, give your thoughts and prayers to Hulk Hogan and Ozzy Osbourne, Malcolm Jamal Warner. Also, say hello, your thoughts and prayers to him. Comatose will be on here. It's Omen. I sent it. Okay, good. Do that. And it's not Omen. No, it's not Omen. Omen's not coming on yet because of this person. I can't have this person on alongside Omen, but I can have this person come on to say a thought or two. And Comatose, if he'd like to come on, will be on here after this person. This person only has a few minutes, but yeah, Anthony Steele, though, is back next Friday at 9. So Anthony Steele will be back on Sportswire next Friday, 9 o'clock, and he'll address some of the things he had to say briefly touched upon tonight. So we'll certainly, I'm sure, talk more about that. And, well, you have to find out. But if Mr. Parsley would like to come on, he's always welcome to, but he doesn't give me the bat signal. But he has a channel, by the way. Mr. Parsley does have a channel that I'd like to plug for a minute. Speaking of which he needs to get more people to tune into. So let me take care of this business and this order of business here. And let me do that here right now. And hit the sub button for Justin Parsley. Go out there and do it. Hit the sub button for him. He's got a show that's very controversial that we can't air on Sportswire or do on Sportswire. But share it with us, and we will do that, and we'll go from there. But thank you very much. Well, I'm going to bring on Comatose first because the guest that I'm waiting for needs a few more minutes. Originally, you got that Mamba mentality. I could see you got that Kobe jersey on. I forgot about Kobe dying because I actually did an episode when Kobe died. But you were kind of our Kobe in the backyard. Mr. Comatose originally was supposed to talk about TPW, BTW, but I do have RT. I think you're here Monday anyway. I think a bunch of you were here Monday night with RTG. But for now, I wanted to get your thoughts, if any, on Hulk Hogan and Ozzy Osbourne. We could touch upon a little bit of BTW for a few minutes, and then James Taylor will close things out. But any thoughts on these passings? I mean, obviously, Hulk did some things I don't know if I agreed with outside of wrestling, or certainly I cared much for, but wrestling-wise, he was definitely revolutionary. And whether you were a fan of Ozzy or not, he definitely left a long-lasting impact. So anything you want to say on them? You're pretty good at talking.
So I definitely would. So I know, like you just touched on, I know that there is a lot of different opinions on Hulkster's antics outside of the ring. Not even just that, just the way that he would carry himself as a man. But if there is one thing that is undeniable about Hulk Hogan, it is the fact that he may be the one or two greatest performers of all time in the industry that we all love so near and dear. In that respect, we do have to give him the impact value and the fact that he did absolutely 100% inspire generations of wrestlers, backyard, professional, underground, no matter what it is. And I wanted to touch on Hulk Hogan first because honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of him. But as for Ozzy Osbourne,
let's go with that. Yeah, this is fascinating.
Oh my goodness, Ozzy Osbourne is literally he could be the inspiration for anything that you see nowadays that is modernly evil. Like anything that is on anything that is on a horror movie, anything that any emo bands do, hard metal, heavy metal, doesn't matter what you can think of. Ozzy is truly the king of darkness, is the root of all evil. It's not money, ladies and gentlemen. It is Ozzy motherfreaking Osbourne.
Yeah, Ozzy, you know what the funny thing about Ozzy is that he's almost become lovable. It's interesting. Hogan, their roles reversed. I think that's one thing I take away is their roles were reversed. 30, 40 years ago, maybe you would have said, Hogan, pure. But Ozzy really was a lot more lovable, I think, as time went on. Maybe it's the Osbournes. Maybe it's some of the things he went through, Parkinson's disease, maybe some of the struggles he went through. But he became kind of a lovable figure. I mean, I think that's kind of what I take away from Ozzy, as crazy as that sounds.
I would definitely say that is an absolutely picture perfect thing to take away from it, because you would think Hulk Hogan, being the superpower mega face of WWE for decades, you would think he's the more lovable one, but of course it's not him. It's Ozzy. Ozzy is comparable. So this might be a weird comparison, but I compare Ozzy a lot to Steve-O.
Well, I mean, they would death-defy. Yeah, I mean, listen, wasn't Ozzy on Jackass one episode? Wouldn't they have didn't Bam Margera speak to Ozzy? I feel like
I'm pretty sure.
I feel like it happened. I mean, James Taylor was probably alive when that happened, so he probably had a front row seat. But he left. Maybe I'm sorry, James. I mentioned you maybe watching the episode live. I apologize.
I guess you offended him.
Well, no, he's back. Well, he's coming back. We'll let him go. But yeah, I mean, I could see that because Steve-O was a death defier. Ozzy, I mean, listen, he bit the head off a bat. He pissed on the Alamo, and he licked, he licked his own piss with ants on it. I mean, yeah, I mean, listen, he did. Even if you weren't a fan of his music, he did things that was just memorable. I mean, he was also in a lot of movies. Little Nicky, he was in. I mean, Austin Powers. I mean, he crossed out the Pepsi commercial in the Super Bowl. I mean, he was on the Muppets. I mean, Ozzy was on the Muppets. People don't forget this, but he was on the Muppets. I mean, he was,
that one I didn't know.
He was on the Muppets. I mean, he had he was a larger than life figure. I mean, he was lovable. And now, James Taylor, I hope I didn't offend you about the Steve-O Ozzy Jackass comment. Did you hear what I said about that? Or, oh, you forgot. Don't worry about it. Yeah. I just said you were alive when Jackass happened. You probably saw the episode live or whatever it was. But I figured I'd bring you on. And Comatose was here. It was his spot tonight. But I'm sure, James, you heard about these guys named Hulk Hogan and Ozzy Osbourne. You heard of them?
Yeah.
You know anything about them?
I was a big fan of Black Sabbath. I really liked listening to the band with Ozzy in it. And then, of course, Mr. Osbourne himself.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the music. We were rocking out to it in the car the other night because of him passing. And
sure,
my wife's a big fan of his work, too. So always liked the Prince of Darkness or the King of Darkness or whatever you want to call him.
You can call him anything you want.
He was hilarious to watch on the Osbournes. I loved watching him.
You know what? Courtney Wood was like. Courtney Wood admonished me because I was like the Osbournes. I say I hated it, but I wasn't crazy about it. But she loved the Osbournes. She admonished me because I said that I really wasn't a big fan of the Osbournes. But yeah, well, James Taylor left. Maybe he was upset that and obviously Rocky's here from TPW, and I shout out to Rocky, and James Taylor is leaving. James. Is it because you saw Justin Parsey in the chat? Rocky in the chat?
This new setup for StreamYard.
You were here like a week and a half ago, though. You know already. Comatose is going to be here a couple times.
I hit the X to back out of a thing, and it takes me out of the whole damn chat.
StreamYard has changed they have changed their design since you've last been on here. It's different icons for different things, but I hope you're okay, James. Hope you're with us here because you are the Tyrant King, and I hope you continue to be the Tyrant King.
I'll always be the Tyrant King. There can't be no other way. Let me tell you what. Back in the day, back in 1987, when I was a wee little.
Oh, you were there. You were alive when Hogan was at Maple Leaf Gardens.
Hulk Hogan. The very first time I ever graced wrestling was I guess I was running around, running rampant. My mom was pissed off, and my mom said, "Here." She just started clicking the channel, and then she came across WrestleMania 3. It was around when Hogan was facing Andre the Giant, and I just shut up and I was mesmerized. So when Hogan body slammed Andre the Giant, you can imagine as a little Nimmy that I was exactly just enthralled at I was just excited, and Hulk Hogan was like a superhero to me. I don't agree with a lot of the things that he has done or the way that he ran business and all the bullshit that he did, but let's face it. Wrestling wouldn't be where it's at today if it wasn't for guys, especially like Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan was larger than life. The wrestler Hulk Hogan, the character Hulk Hogan, not Terry. We're talking about Hulk freaking Hogan, Hollywood Hogan. Even I mean, he transcended the wrestling industry and brought it to where it was at. you know, of course, a lot of things changed as the years went on, but the '80s was those are my years when I was born.
Well,
Obviously,
I mean,
yeah.
listen, rock and wrestling. I agree. Rock and wrestling. You think about the Saturday morning cartoons. You think about the movies. Yeah, I mean, what he did. I think Courtney made a great point. Was it laid the seeds for the likes of John Cena, Batista? It laid the seeds for the likes of the Rock, certainly the Rock. I mean, Kevin Nash, and you think about all these different wrestlers that were able to transition it and become very successful in Hollywood. Wrestling became marketable. I mean, I think also wrestlers like The Rock, John Cena, Batista learned from some of the duds Hulk Hogan had because, after Rocky III, most of them really, I mean, there's Mr. Nanny and Suburban Commando, which, by the way, The Undertaker was in
those
Suburban
movies.
Commando.
Those movies.
I mean, well, they weren't what Fast and the Furious was, or they weren't what what John, what The Rock has made. But I mean, listen, there's no question that Hulk Hogan laid the seeds for what I think modern wrestlers were able to be in mainstream marketability. I think that's his biggest thing. He wasn't the greatest wrestler. He wasn't wrestling skill wise the best. I mean, but
his charisma was it was 100,
oozing.
like just crazy. It was out there. It was what Hulk Hogan, what you would dream a wrestler would be back in that time.
No, you and Comatose are very charismatic guys in the back. You were two of some of the most charismatic, and I'm not just saying because you're on here, but you're two of the most charismatic guys. There was a guy that was on just before you guys, also very charismatic. I'm sure you've heard of him, Anthony Steele. But the point is that Hogan, definitely, I've heard of him. Yeah, he's back next week. But I mean, the point is that there's no question that he influenced many people here in the backyard and elsewhere, and in terms of his charisma. I mean, again, as a person, look, I don't know if I'd want to go out and say or do some of the things he did, or even as a wrestler with some of the stuff he did backstage. But as a personality, I mean, he was definitely the Babe Ruth of wrestling. I think there's no question that he was the Babe Ruth of wrestling.
He definitely was. He was there at WrestleMania 1 in the main event with Paul Orndorff and what was it? Cowboy Bob Orton and Mr.
Cowboy
T.
Bob Orton, Mr. T. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it was Liberace, and it was on closed circuit television. People paid a lot of money to go out and try to find a way into it. The rematch between Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant had 33 million people watch it. I mean, that was 33 million people.
Hogan was the first wrestler that you wanted to see dream matches with, and the first dream match that I ever wanted to see, that a lot of people wanted to see, was Hulk Hogan versus Ric Flair, and we got to see that. And that was one of the coolest experiences.
We got to see it, but it was later on. I mean, I know we got to see it at WWF, but it wasn't really.
We got to see it in WCW, though.
We did, but we did. I'll give you that. We saw it. I think it was a little one-sided. I think Ric Flair should have got a couple more wins.
Of course, 100%. I'm just saying the scenarios,
Yeah, I think Hulk Hogan. Worlds. You know what? That's a good point.
Ric Flair's going to be 100. Like,
I think Hulk Hogan and The Rock was a passing of the torch, kind of. I wish we would have saw Hulk Hogan and Stone Cold. We got to see Hulk Hogan and Sting. I would have liked to have seen more. I would have liked to have seen, maybe more of Hulk Hogan versus Goldberg. I think Hulk Hogan, Bret Hart, by the way, is one person today that's not celebrating about Hulk Hogan's career. But Hulk Hogan and Bret Hart, Bret Hart wasn't a fan of his. But then again, Bret Hart isn't a fan of Goldberg either. But I can't talk about Goldberg tonight. But listen, Hulk Hogan, people wanted to see Bret Hart and Hulk Hogan. People wanted to see John Cena and Hulk Hogan. We didn't get a chance to see that. We thought maybe that could have happened, but I think what I take away from Hogan, Courtney kind of admonished me about it, was that Ozzy got his send-off, but Hogan didn't really get a send-off, really. He got booed at the beginning of the year. He came out, right, in Raw, and he got, booed mercifully. I think he had one more appearance on TV afterwards, but he didn't get the send-off. He didn't get that really way to go out. I think that's what I'm going to remember most about Hogan in some senses at the end, that he didn't, he just didn't get the send-off.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, actually. He had his matches, if you wanted to consider those as your his send-off. But as far as, like,
he didn't really. I mean, his last match, I think, was on Australian. No, he had one or two matches in TNA. He had a bunch of tag matches, and I think his last match was a tag match in TNA. I think. He didn't really, Ozzy got the send off. I think that's to me what I kind of feel good about Ozzy in one sense, that he got the send off. He kind of got everything aligned perfectly. He gets into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame a second time last year. His last album wins 2 Grammys, and he gets the final show. Whereas Hogan,
Hogan was he was in a different place. I mean,
he didn't get it.
Ric
Some
Flair
of it
said it himself, though. The guy don't look like he actually. Mick Foley said this today in his reaction to Hogan dying, but he said, and I quote, "The guy looks like he never ages, really, and it's crazy. You don't think anything could happen to him, and then out of nowhere, boom, he's gone, just like that."
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know. I mean, he had neck surgery. They talked about on TMZ. He had obviously back surgeries. I mean, you guys obviously being performers understand the risk being in the ring, but you didn't really know anything. I mean, Ozzy really should have died like 40 years ago. James obviously alive and kicking then, but he should have really been dead. He should have been dead like in 1981. So Ozzy really,
if anybody could relate to Ozzy Osbourne at this time, it would be Ric Flair, because he lives that same
I
life.
think that's
he did live that same life.
I think Ozzy,
partying, drinking, all that shit.
Ozzy was, he's got a Lakers jersey, and Ozzy essentially was like the Wilt Chamberlain of music, because Wilt Chamberlain famously said he slept with 1,000 women. Ozzy really, the man lived like 10 different lifetimes, and they always asked him, they always asked him, well, what was the advice you give to people? I don't do drugs, because he would, I think it was in the Osbourne episode that came up once. Yeah, but Ozzy got the send off. He, I think, like I said, people expected Ozzy at some point to go, but Hogan, I don't know. Hogan.
I just met the man last year, and I didn't.
I know you met
him.
Go. I got to find the photo again, but it's probably too deep.
It's on my Instagram. It's the video
I'll
of me
try to
shaking
find
hands.
it.
I'll repost it.
Repost it. Big Man Cam shared his, but just to get before we close the show out. That's just wanted to get you guys' thoughts on it, because I think on this platform we had to say a few words on it, and I was glad to have people here say a few words on it. And I think it's a tough day for the world. Hogan, Ozzy, Malcolm Jamal Warner. I know James Taylor. You obviously
from the Cosby Show.
Yep. Yeah, I got to be honest though. He had the worst death of the 3, I think, because he was drowned.
54.
Yeah,
he was 54. This guy was like in tip-top shape, and he just drowned in Costa Rica. I feel bad for him probably the most, because the guy was just drowned. He was on a family trip, and just like. That sucks.
It does suck.
I can't say I was the biggest.
How precious life is.
Yeah, I've been talking about that with people. I saw my buddy Ross Galloway showed up here. I haven't seen him in a few years. It's just I see Rocky here in the chat. Princess Jade lost her cat and grandpa today. That's just what it is, and hopefully, definitely condolences. And I know Comatose will be here actually a few times, because we have Monday RTG is here. So I know you'll be showing up there. And then there'll be this guy Thursday night next week. This guy, Aaron Blaze, will be showing up, but that's for a different show for a different time. Yeah, he'll be showing up. And then, you'll be, I'm sure, having something to say there. But I just wanted to have a few words on this. I do obviously want to bring you back on to talk TPW, and shout out to Rocky. I had some of the TPW guys message me recently. So I do want to get TPW coverage back onto Sportswire, but I think there had to be a moment today to talk about Ozzy and talk about the Hulkster, because of just the magnitude. And even Ozzy, real quick on Ozzy, WrestleMania 2, he was on Raw, he was a guest host with Sharon, D-Generation X. So Ozzy was a fan of wrestling. He was legit. He was in wrestling. He's in the Hall of Fame. He's in the WWE Hall of Fame. So he really did cross over into wrestling, and he performed "I Don't Want to Stop," I recall, on SmackDown. So he crossed over. He definitely,
he lived a good life. I think he did.
He did. Yeah. I think Ozzy. Listen, I'm definitely more broken up about Ozzy because of I've had a lot of bands on that have been influenced by Ozzy, so I could feel Ozzy, believe it or not. But the Hulk is a tremendous. So speaking of people that haven't seen you in a while, King Vampire wants to say what's up. James, we know him, and what's up is Hulk Hogan and Ozzy Osbourne died, and really tough loss for the world. For certainly their impact, I think, will be felt for a long time. and just sharing some stories on it. Sharing.
I'm not ashamed to admit,
What?
when I got the news of Hogan dying, I had to
What happened?
blink like 3 or 4 times, and I cried. I cried a little bit. I'm man enough to admit it, and you know why?
Why?
Because he's what pulled me into wrestling. He's what got me into wrestling. And like I said, I don't agree with all the stuff he did, but Hulk Hogan being the larger than life character that he was, that it actually touched my heart to know that. I mean, well, to find out that he passed. So it bothers me. And yeah, it sucked about Ozzy dying. You know, maybe it was that time coming, but Ozzy Osbourne will always be a legend for sure. But Hulk
Yeah.
Hogan to me was larger than life for sure.
No, Hulk.
Not just a
I think
catchphrase; it
Hulk.
just really was a lot to me.
Well, Hulk was people. Once upon a time were looking up to him because of say your prayers, drink your milk, eat your vitamins. He, at a time lived a lifestyle. Also, first person to be on Sports Illustrated, right? First wrestler to be on Sports Illustrated. He was somebody that people you watched on television for all those years, and he was your hero. You didn't know. I mean, so I think that's why for us here on Sportswire, there are going to be a lot of wrestlers that were influenced by him. I mean, and understandably so. I mean, and speaking of people that aren't celebrating Hulk Hogan or Ozzy Osbourne, Jason Storm wants to say, yeah, I know that we're not going to go there,
Break
but
the ice. That's fun.
long live the Prince of Darkness. Yeah, Ozzy just listen,
I'm
and I
something
will
smart.
listen. Ozzy made the front page of the Daily News and the New York Post here, which is unheard of. Usually it's like Trump or it's the mayor of New York City. And Ozzy made the front page of both. Tomorrow, I almost guarantee before we sign off, because I see Comatose get ready to go, that still. But I know you're a busy man. But I always think about you, Comatose, because you're a butcher. I always think about you every time I eat. I want to thank you, Comatose. But I do want to say that I will guarantee that Hogan will be on the front page of the Post and or the Daily, which again, the only people that ever are on the front page are like the mayor of New York City and the president, whether it's any president. So that's going to be the magnitude of their losses. I mean, that's to me what
Yep.
what they mean, and that's
They're
just
icons. That's why.
yeah. I
You
mean,
know.
they are, and
And I know Hogan's real big up there in New York City. He's got, I mean, Madison
no,
Square
I mean,
Garden.
yeah, this was Hogan country. No, New York,
Yeah.
Brooklyn, New York City was Hogan country. Well, even Ozzy. Ozzy was very big in New York City. Ozzy always played the Garden. Ozzy, was always a headliner here. He always was very big in New York City.
If there's
Ozzy,
one, if there's one thing on my bucket list, and if anything, any wrestler's bucket list, it should be to at least, whether it's perform there or just go there to attend it, is go to the Garden at least once in your life. And I know
I
I
pass
want to.
by there all the time without showing up.
There you go. There you go.
I actually worked by, I thought about that today and I should have took a photo of it. I was literally right. I was like right by the Garden, but I was like, let me get to Sportswire because I was late. Where I was late. I was late. But anything else you guys want to say tonight? Anything else you want to get off your chest? Anything else you want to say before we sign off tonight? I think I've said what I need to say with everybody in the chat.
Come.
I don't.
Want to plug
The, o-
TPW? Anything
yeah, I
TPW
was
you
about to
want to
say
plug?
the only things that I would have to say is definitely keep an eye out on Instagram for Texas Pro Wrestling. I am in a
Promo.
pretty big match for a number one contendership spot, and also IGPW. I am currently in the
Yes,
Health Starter Championship match.
I did see that. I've watched your promos.
And then other than that, just stay tuned for BTW because Comatose is eyeing his 8th World Heavyweight Championship.
You are there against Blackout. You know that I'm going to be talking a lot about that Monday night. RTG is back. He's here about 11 o'clock Eastern time. So that's going to be a topic. Like I said, this guy Blaze on Thursday. Boy, you're getting back. Yeah, this guy Blaze next Thursday. Then you got an Anthony Steele cameo for an hour on Friday. And then James Taylor. And by the way, spoiler alert, James Taylor. Since Jason Storm is here, I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. The Underground OG Darkron's coming back real on August 5th. He's back. The Underground OG.
Damn.
Hell
He's
yeah.
back. So you like that. But anything else, James, you want to say tonight? Anything else you want to say before we hit the road?
If you don't love this business, then why are you doing it? Don't play wrestler. Do this because you absolutely have the passion for it and you love it. People want to give me shit. give people like me shit for doing what I do, whether it's on a trampoline or in a real ring, or saying that I can't wrestle and I'm just a knockoff. Hey, I'm doing this because I absolutely fucking love it. 41 years old, and I've been hearing guys that are 15 years younger than me saying, "Oh, I'm about to retire." Well, damn. I must be doing something either wrong or I must be doing something right, because at my age, it's not that I've got nothing else to do. It's because I'm staying active and I absolutely love this business. Look at guys like Randy Orton, 45 years old, CM Punk in his 40s, John Cena about to hit 50. He's doing it. I mean, it's just what we love because it's in our soul, it's in our blood, it's what we are passionate about. And if there's nobody that's passionate about this, I don't know what to tell you. But anyway, thank you, Tom, for letting me come on here. Just wanted to rant a little bit.
The way you said that, James, was just kind of like, "Oh, thank you for having me on." Well, the pressures are certainly, we always love having you on, but obviously, I'm sure we'll have more coverage to talk about here. And speaking of people that wanted to see you, James, for a minute, I mean, Cameron Cage is here, and do you want to share, maybe a Cameron Cage story for you? Yep.
Cam, you need to reach out to me, man. I might have something really, really good lined up for you if you are interested. It doesn't have to do with BYCW. It's another organization. It's another organization that I'm actually, and stay tuned. There's a teaser right there. Stay tuned, because James Taylor, you will be seeing on another screen very, very soon here in the next coming
Are you going to
weeks.
BTW? Because Comatose is in BTW. Is there a possibility that the reason you're here tonight is that maybe you could be showing up to BTW? Because that is something that has been mentioned in the past.
BTW, since the first time they reached out to me, I mean, they've been kicking ass and doing their thing, but they haven't reached back out to James Taylor. And whenever they do again, maybe we could talk more business. I don't know, but they haven't reached back out to James Taylor, and that's fine. But no, this is another company that's down here in the South, 18 by 18 ring. 4 feet high. It's a indie company. It's really nice. Just stay tuned. There's a little teaser for you, but I'm not done yet. I still got a couple of years in my tank, and I'm going to keep going until I feel like I can't do it no more.
Some people, James, think you have a couple decades left. And by the way,
I might. Maybe I will.
Cameron Cage said he's interested. I mean, he's interested in this thing here. He's very interested, and I mean, that's exciting. It's exciting, by the way.
Hit me up. I got an organization that I'm talking to, that I've already got a booking, and that's as much info as I can give right now.
Oh, that's very nice of you to at least give that option, and that's going to certainly heat things up. And also, King Vampire wants to say nobody disrespects my friend the Tyrant King. That is obviously some strong words.
That's respect.
Strong words.
Gotta have those real fans.
You got the fans, James, certainly always behind you, and obviously BYCW people, I'm sure, obviously very excited to see you back on here. And Dalton Skull, I saw your old friend Dalton Skull on his own live 2 days ago, and he was having plenty to say about you, and you certainly talked about your future, and maybe you should invite
talking about me.
But maybe you should. What are you inviting Comatose to BYCW?
When Comatose has the little frog in his ass, he's ready to jump. All he's got to do is come on.
But you should be inviting him.
I'd love to have Comatose come on down to BYCW. I don't think he'd be ashamed to get back on a trampoline again. Hell, there might be a ring by the time he gets down there. Either way, it's still competitor to competitor, because I'd love to see a match between Taylor and Comatose.
I would love to see a match between Taylor and
a lot of people, especially you guys having careers now in TPW. Certainly, you guys are both former and current TPW alumni. Obviously, now you guys both being world champions and you guys being distinguished.
In case you didn't know that, Comatose, Tom just told you, but I am officially as of now
he's following
13 times
Yes, sir.
world heavyweight champion. I am the undisputed champion for BYCW, and I'm proud to say it.
All right. Well, yeah, that's a milestone. I have a little bit of way down the road to get.
You want to win this championship in BTW, but remember, that means James has lost the championship also a dozen times. Don't forget, you don't want to lose.
The last title I lost, I never technically lost it. Retired with the company, and that was in 2006. I have not held a world title in 19 years until I recently won.
And
this
you know what? And that's why I mean, you may want to hold the title for 19 more years the way this is going. I mean, who knows? I mean, maybe you'll outkick all of our coverages, and that's why we're very excited. And we want to thank everybody here for tuning in, and we appreciate you all. And yeah, I agree. Long live the Prince of Darkness. Long live the Hulkster. And thank you everybody for tuning in on this special Hulk Hogan Ozzy Osbourne tribute show. I do want to get to a few more comments before we go. My 9-year-old son asked me why cops like donuts. I had nothing. Do I know? The reason that I think I can tell you New York why police like donuts, and I'm not a police officer, but I did take the police officer test once famously, is that cops are on breaks a lot and they're not doing anything, and donuts allow them to pass the time. So they like donuts because they're on break a lot, and it gives them an opportunity to pass the time. They're sitting there. The donut is kind of this easy food to eat. It's quick. They can eat it. It's almost like a slice of pizza in reverse without the cheese. That's why they like it. And that's the truth. I mean, I'm just being honest. I mean, that's what they like.
Hey, famously, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, everybody knows I'm a fan of it. But anyway, at the beginning of that movie, famously New York, everybody's eating pizza. Even the cops, even these two cops had this guy handcuffed, and they were eating pizza.
Well, before we go, I can actually tell you, because as a guy from Brooklyn who eats pizza almost every day, I actually, last night, we had a power outage here in where I live, and I was in Brooklyn waiting to go home, and there was a police officer eating pizza where I was eating. So on 18th Avenue, which is very famous in New York City. And
I've got to try.
Well, you guys come, and I'll make sure you have the pizza. You get the pizza on me, and we'll have a good old time. And I can't
I'm holding you to that. I'm holding you to that.
You can certainly hold me to that because I can afford the bill. But thank you, everybody. We want to thank everybody for tuning in. Tomorrow I'll be with the WVWF Women's Champion Jade May. Saturday I'll be with Torrance Banks. Please follow Comatose on Instagram, BTW. RTG Baby is here Monday night. You know Comatose will be stopping by. Also, I'll stick with the comments. My favorite type of pizza is meat lovers all the way. I got to be honest. I don't like anything on my pizza. I've always been plain.
I don't like pepperoni. Just like cheese. I'm personally just pepperoni.
Pepperoni once in a blue moon. I mean, my mother used to once in a while get us. It was half pepperoni and sausage on there, but I don't like that. I just want plain. But also, I have an excuse. When I eat pizza, I'm usually on the go. And you want to laugh? Usually, I'm having pizza, getting ready to go home to come on to Sportswire. That's why I usually like my pizza quick, not too hot. Justin Parsley's son and my sister will be the same age. Wow. You know what? That's very, very good. And that's why we appreciate them. And thank you, Justin. Thank you, Comatose. Thank you, James Taylor. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice figuratively and literally with all music and wrestling matters. Thank you so much, everybody here, for tuning in. Rest in peace, Ozzy and the Hulkster. And what you're going to do when the Hulkster runs wild on you and the Prince of Darkness. We will see you on the other side. Hit the sub button for BYCW and BTW. Follow TPW. Follow Taffy's Lounge. I'll see everybody tomorrow. Yeah, if ROEW, if I mention ROEW, then Dark Chronic won't be coming on. You won't be coming anymore. But yes, please follow ROEW on Instagram, TikTok. Please follow ROEW also on YouTube, especially. Face-offs will be coming out, more face-offs. By the way, Jason Storm, James, continues to be one of the greatest champions in wrestling history. Just saying. Jason Storm, he is continuing to show his reign. This is why he's one of the greatest. And he's got 2 world titles right now. There can't be no other way because Jason Storm has got those world champions. Okay, enough. I know. It's an Ozzy. This is for Ozzy and Hulk. They're going to certainly hit the leg drop on me and want to eat my head off like Ozzy used to. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. We'll see everybody tomorrow. And all wrestling matters, all music matters. And please support these guys. And God bless.